to retire early, what you need to be doing right now if you're wanting to retire early. Hey, my name is Drew Blackston. I'm a certified retirement counselor, investment advisor representative, and I'm your virtual financial advisor, helping you get to retirement, helping you get through retirement, and protecting your ability to stay in retirement. And we're going to look at the stages of early retirement and how you can get there. All right, you ready? Let's do it. So the first stage is age 35 to 45. Now, this is the very beginning stage of early retirement. And I want to look at three things that you need to be doing if you are in the early stages of planning for an early retirement. The first thing you need to be doing is investing for growth. Now, listen, I'm 36 years old. I am investing for growth. There's no need for me to be uber conservative. I am trying to grow my retirement investments as much as possible. Now, you want to have a good emergency fund set aside in a bank account or a money market account, and really the rest of your liquid assets need to be invested for growth towards the S&P 500, towards the NASDAQ, towards the Dow. There are plenty of index funds out there offered by Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, low-cost index funds that can help you grow your retirement investing accounts and get you to your early retirement. So if you're young, like me, I'm young, I want to be investing my money for growth, and I want to do 20% or more. A good rule of thumb is to invest 20% or more of your gross income for retirement. So if you make $100,000 a year, you want to invest at least $20,000 for retirement. Now, that could be spread out between a 401k, a brokerage account, a Roth IRA. Think growth when you are young. You also want to have at least 1 to 3 years of salary saved in your retirement investing account. So if you make $100,000 a year, you're in your 30s, you want to at least have $100,000 to $300,000 saved among your bank accounts, your 401ks, your Roth IRAs, your SEP accounts, any of your retirement investing accounts. Now, keep in mind, if you do not have that much saved and you're not contributing that much to your investing accounts, it's not that you can't retire early. These are just steps that you can take that will help you get to retirement early, okay? Now, the second thing you want to be looking at doing is paying off debt and living on a budget. Now, I know a budget is a curse word, but living on a budget is going to help you identify how you're spending your money, and are there other areas that you can cut out of your spending to invest more for your retirement. Listen, if you're in your 30s, sit on the couch, close your eyes, and think about yourself at 55. What do you want to be doing at age 55? What do you want to be doing at age 60? Do you still want to be working? Do you still want to be grinding? Now, come back to age 35 and say, okay, if we live on a budget, what can we cut today so that we can live the good life in retirement at 55 and 60? So you want to be living on a budget. You also want to be looking at paying off debt. Now, obviously, our home, our mortgage is our largest debt. There's student loan debt, there's credit card debt. Any kind of debt you have, you really want to be tackling that and paying that down, because if you're able to eliminate a debt payment, now that cash flow can be repositioned into a retirement investing account. And the last thing you want to be doing between ages 35 and 45, if you're wanting to retire early, is creating a cash bucket. Now, what do I mean by a cash bucket? You want to create an investing account, a brokerage account that you can put money into over and above your 401k or your IRA contribution or your Roth IRA contribution that you can use anytime you want for retirement income. Because remember, keep in mind, if you pull money out of your IRA and you're under the age of 59 and a half, there's a 10% penalty for that. Now, there's some exclusions to that. There's a 72T rule and there's some other exclusions. But just in general, if you have an IRA and you're trying to live off that in retirement, the rules are a little stricter. But if you create a brokerage account, Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, wherever, and you put money into that account on a monthly, weekly, annual basis, whatever, and you invest that just like you invest your 401k for growth, now you're building up yourself a bucket of money, a cash bucket that you can pull from at any time you want. And if you get to 55 and you want to use that for retirement income to bridge the gap to 59.5 or 62 or 67, whatever, you can do that, and you won't pay a penalty. You only pay taxes on the gains, the dividends, the interest, but you will not pay a penalty or ordinary income tax. So you want to be building up a cash bucket. Two things to think about with a cash bucket. And I'm not just saying cash like put cash in the bank. What I'm talking about is a brokerage account where you can invest your money and grow that money over the next 10, 15 years. Think about the 25X rule with your cash bucket. The 25X rule says this: whatever your annual expenses are, multiply that by 25, and that's how much money you're going to need in retirement, okay? Now, if you're 45 and you're using the 25X rule, you've got to also think about inflation, and you need to put a 3.24% annual inflation rate on your monthly expenses at 55, okay? So the 25X rule is a great way to get a good foundation of how much money you're going to need to retire early, but you need to put inflation on that. And if you'd like me to do that, in the comment section below is a download. It's called the Checklist for Retirement. Get that download. It's going to help you check off some things that you need to understand going into an early retirement, but it's also the way to get in touch with me so we can create your financial EKG that's going to help you get to retirement, through retirement, and protect your ability to stay in retirement. All right, we want to retire early, and now we're closer than ever. We've got 10 years before we retire at 55. What do we need to be doing? So let's look at 3 things that you need to be doing if you want to retire at 55, starting with age 45. So the first thing you want to be thinking about is you're continuing to invest for growth. Remember, you want to continue to invest for growth. You've got 10 years before you decide to retire. 55 is the number we're looking at. You've got really a 5 to 7 year time horizon before, as a financial advisor, we're talking about adjusting investments more for income, a little bit more for protection. So at 45, you still want to be investing for growth and looking to maximize as much growth as you possibly can. Remember, the stock market does go down 10% or more pretty much every year. Now, it's not always congruently, not always every year, but if you look at the last 100 years, the market has fallen 10% or more 100 times. It will fall 30% or more at least 5 times over a 30-year period. But the average recovery for a bear market is 18 months. So if you're investing for growth at 45 and the market falls 30% or more, the average recovery time is 18 months. That puts you at 46, and then it's off to the races again. So continue to invest for growth even in your mid-40s. Now, it's very important at this age, between 45 and 50, that you start creating your financial EKG. Now, what is a financial EKG or a retirement income plan? You want to start planning out your retirement income. You want to start having some projections. We want to look at, when are we going to start taking income? How long is that income going to last? If we continue to save like we are and the market returns 4, 5, 6% between now and 55, how much in retirement assets are we going to have? What is our tax situation going to look like when we get to retirement? We want to start looking at these projections, and we want to look at Social Security. Social Security is a major decision that often gets overlooked, especially in the retirement planning process. We want to know, are we going to claim Social Security at 62, 67, or 70? And on your Social Security statement, it will easily give you the projections. And then what we can do here at Your Financial EKG is we can kind of update those projections based on when you want to retire. All right? So you need to be doing those 3 things at 45. Now, once you get to 50, 50 is kind of that like line in the sand, that's a key number, especially if you're wanting to retire at 55. And this is where the shift in your investments need to start. So instead of investing necessarily for maximum growth, you really start to think about, okay, how much of this retirement savings that I've grown over the last 25 and 30 years, how much of this do I want to protect? And at that point, you start backing down some of your risk capacity. And what risk capacity is how much risk you want to take, right? Your portfolio has a risk number associated with it, meaning how much risk your portfolio is taking based off the investments. And that's something that we run for clients. We'll say, okay, based on these funds that you own, this is how much risk you are taking. And a lot of times they don't know how much risk they're actually taking until we do the EKG. But at 50, that's when you really want to start kind of dialing back on a portion of your investments. Obviously, you always want to be investing for growth, even at 85, on a portion of your investments. But at 50, listen, if you've got 5 years before you start taking retirement income, you've really got to start thinking about, okay, how much of this money do I want to protect so that I can make sure it's there when I get to 55. I can promise you two things. The market will go up and the market will go down. The timing of those two, I cannot promise. I actually dropped my crystal ball coming into the office today. It shattered, or I'd let you know the next time the market's going to fall. Now, the last thing you want to be thinking about between ages 45 and 55, and really as you get to 50 and you're getting closer to that age 55, are how you're going to take your retirement income out of your retirement investments. When we start creating the financial EKG, the retirement income plan, we're already kind of thinking about this. But as we step closer to 55, it really starts to come into play exactly how we're going to get our retirement income. Is it going to be the rule of 55? Is it going to be a 72T? Is it going to be a cash bucket? Keep in mind, if most of your retirement assets are in a 401k, in your current 401k, the rule of 55 is probably how you're going to get retirement income at 55. The rule of 55 simply says this. I've got many videos on the channel, but the rule of 55 says this. If you are 55 years or older in the year that you decide to leave work, retire, get terminated, you can use your current 401k for retirement income without paying the 10% penalty. Now, it has to be your current 401k. It can't be an old 401k. So if you've got old 401ks, you could maybe do a reverse rollover into your current 401k to build that up. 72T is another option. If most of your retirement investments are in IRAs or SEP IRAs or rollover IRAs, you can use a 72T, which is a substantially equal periodic payment from your IRA for 5 years or age 59 and a half, whichever is longer. And if you do that, you will avoid the 10% penalty that comes from taking out money early from your IRA. And the last option, when you're thinking about retirement income, especially if you're wanting to retire early at 55, is that cash bucket. A cash bucket, a brokerage account that you are able to invest in, that you've been investing in for the last 10, 15, 20 years, and you've grown this pile of money that now doesn't have any IRS rules on it. You just pay taxes on capital gains, dividends, interest. You can write off capital losses for all the bad market stock picks you make. But a cash bucket allows you to bridge the gap to age 59 and a half. It allows you to bridge the gap to age 62 or 67 or 70 or 65, whenever you want to take Social Security. And it allows you flexibility in how you're going to take your retirement income. So these are the things you want to be thinking about between ages 45 and 55 if you're wanting to retire early. All right, we want to retire early, but now we've got to think about the ages between 55 and 65. And for this example, let's assume you've retired at 55. And you might be thinking, Drew, what do I need to think about? I retired at 55. I won. Well, there's a few things you need to think about between the ages of 55 and 65. The first is you need to update your Social Security plan. Now, if you've done a financial EKG with me, the Social Security plan automatically updates. But if you are a DIYer or you're doing your own retirement planning, you need to make sure that you're updating your Social Security plan every year after you retire. Why is that, Drew? You need to understand when you're going to take Social Security. You're going to take Social Security at 62 and get 70% of your full retirement benefit? Are you going to take Social Security at 67 and get 100% of your full retirement benefit? Or are you going to take Social Security at 70 and get 124% of your full retirement benefit? And as the market goes, as the economy goes, as the world turns, as the old show used to say, we want to update our Social Security plan for where the rest of our retirement investments are situated. Because you might have a plan to take Social Security at 67, get 100% of your full retirement benefit. But early in your retirement, there could be something that comes along called sequence of return risk. Now, sequence of return risk is simply in the first few years of your retirement, the market goes down. And so because the market goes down and you're using stock market investments for retirement income, there's a bigger drain on your retirement investment accounts early in your retirement, which is why you want a plan that looks at all these different scenarios. Well, if the market goes down early in your retirement, maybe you think about taking Social Security at 62, 63, 64 at an earlier time frame to help support your retirement investing accounts. Or vice versa, let's say the market kills it. The market's doing great. Boom, boom, boom. We're making money hand over fist. We're taking out our retirement income. We're living the good life, right? Well, in that case, you might say, well, I'm going to be an overachiever. I'm going to be a broccoli eater. I'm going to take Social Security at 70 and delay that benefit because my retirement investment accounts have grown so much that I can sustain the retirement income until I get to Social Security at 70. That's why you always, especially when you retire early, you want to update your retirement income plan every year. We call it an EKG for our clients, and if you want one, contact me in the description below and we can talk about that. Now, at 62, it becomes your first opportunity to collect Social Security, so always keep that in mind. Now, between ages 55 and 65, our investments become more conservative. Now, here's the example I like to use. Have you ever ridden a roller coaster? Well, I have. And you go upside down and you go fast and you don't really necessarily know where you're going to get off. You just know you're going to get off. Well, at 36 years old, riding on a roller coaster, that's what I'm doing in the stock market. I'm going through the twists, the turns, the corkscrews, everywhere. But when you get to retirement, and now you're living off of your retirement income, you're living off your retirement investments and using that for retirement income, you do not want to be on a roller coaster. You want to be on a train. You want to know exactly where you're getting off. I call it the Walt Disney World Railroad. We know we're going to get off at Tomorrowland. We know we're going to get off at Main Street, and we know we're going to get off at Frontierland. Boom. We know exactly where we're getting off on this train. Now, not all of our investments need to be on the train. Some of them can stay on the roller coaster, but we need to be adjusting our investments for our risk capacity, understanding what happens if the market does fall 10, 20, 30%. How does that affect my retirement investments? How does that affect my retirement income? And also be thinking about what's a rate of return that I would be happy with the rest of my life? And I ask all of my clients this. I say, listen, if you got 6% the rest of your life, would you be happy? And they'll say, yeah. And I say, okay, then why are we taking this amount of risk to get 8, 9, and 10% when all you need is 6? And that's, again, why you want to do a retirement income plan, an EKG. You want to know the exact percentage of retirement gain that you need to sustain your lifestyle for the rest of your life. So we're kind of adjusting our investments. A little side note you want to be thinking about between ages 55 and 65, long-term care. Now, I'm not talking about long-term care insurance. I'm just talking about long-term care, making sure you understand that as you get older, your healthcare costs are going to go up, and you want to have a plan, or at least a thought, an idea of what you're going to do for long-term care. Lastly, between ages 55 and 65, you hit that magical number 65, and you go on Uncle Sam's Medicare. That's when your healthcare costs come down for your monthly healthcare premium, which is great. And understanding your Medicare decision is huge, especially at 65. You get one shot without any underwriting to choose your Medicare plan, whether you want to go onto a supplement or whether you want to go onto a Medicare Advantage plan. That's something we can help you out with here too. You can contact us. We can help you with your Medicare decision. But Medicare is a big deal because how much you're going to pay in healthcare costs is in turn going to affect your retirement income, which in turn is affected by your retirement investing accounts and the performance on those investing accounts. All right? So that's what you need to be thinking about between ages 55 and 65. Now keep in mind, this is only a portion of your entire retirement planning journey. Check out our full library of content on the Your Financial EKG channel to get a more in-depth retirement look for your retirement journey. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. Bye-bye.